today's video is going to be one I've never made before, so I thought it'd be fun to explain some of the stories and kind of how I came up with some of the names for my model horses. And I've been getting some questions in my mail times on some of people asking how I came up with some of these names. So like I said, I thought it'd be fun to make a video on it, so let's get started. We're going to start with model horses that are named after books. So this is Black Beauty, and he is named after Black Beauty from the book, which I love. Spitfire here is a black thoroughbred, and he is named after Spitfire from another book I read. I don't remember, I think it was a series of books. I think the first book was called The Golden Filly, and it was about this jockey and her racehorse, and his name was Spitfire. So when I got this thoroughbred stallion, that had to be his name. This is Tilta. She is a Tennessee Walker mare. I read a book about this Tennessee Walker mare. It was just a short little book, and her name was Tilta. This here is Flint. He's actually a newer model. I think I got him last year, and he was sent to me by a friend, and I named him Flint also from a book. I do remember Flint was a secret agent detective, so this horse reminded me of that character. However, I have been thinking about changing it. I'm not sure. I'm not so crazy about the book character anymore. This is Spirit, and of course he's named after Spirit from the movie Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. Of course, because he looks like him. He's not a Mustang like Spirit is, but I mean, how could I not name him Spirit? This here is little Ginger May, and I actually had, many years ago, I had a little filly for a very short time, a week, and her name was Ginger May, and she looked kind of like this little girl, so I had to name her Ginger May. And the real Ginger May filly was not a Tennessee Walker like this little girl is. She was a quarter horse, but they looked alike. And we also had another colt. He was, I think, a yearling, and for the same very short amount of time, and his name was Rocky. So this horse's name is Rocky. This horse and the real Rocky look nothing alike. The real Rocky was a buckskin quarter horse, but this is Rocky the Clydesdale. Silver here is named after the Silver Stallion. I actually never watched any of the movies, if it is a movie, or read any of the books. If it's a book, I just kind of heard about it and I really liked it. So I named him Silver, and I think long ago I had him named Silverton, but then I just simplified it and named him Silver. And then I explained in my video where I show you my top 10 favorite model horses, I explained how his name inspired the whole name and the whole entire Silver Star stables. So my stable is named after this little pony. This here is Toronta, and if you watch any of my movies or series, you've probably seen Toronta, and she is a very sassy pants pony, and I've gotten the most questions about her name and where I came up with it and what it means. So Toronta is actually a mineral that is mined out of the ground, and it is used to make soap. So you can put it in your washer and wash clothes. It's a soap. And my dad was working in Wyoming in the Toronto mines, and he was able actually to bring some of it home with him. I wanted a different, unique name for her that I'd never heard before. It's not much to see, but since we have some of it, still have some of it, I'm going to show it to you. It's just white powder. And since it's white, it became her name. This little mare here was very kindly sent to me in a mail time, and she is a repaint, and her name is Pumpkin, and she is named after Charlotte Desjardins. I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly, but she's an all-time dressage queen in the Olympics, and last year in the Olympics, she rode her horse named Pumpkin, and that horse reminded me of this horse. And she just looks like a dressage mare. So I named her Pumpkin. Pretty sure real Pumpkin is a gelding. This is Charlotte, and she is a dressage horse. And Charlotte is named after Charlotte Desjardins herself, because she's a dressage queen, and Charlotte Desjardins is the real dressage queen. So there we have it. Once again, I don't think I'm saying Charlotte DeJarn's last name correctly, but I'm trying. So I named this model horse after her. So this will be fun. All these little horses coming up are named after imaginary horses. So this is Crystal, and she is named after my very first imaginary horse that I ever made up. And my imaginary horse, Crystal, was all white, just like this little lady. So when I got this model, I had to name her Crystal. Flame was my second imaginary horse ever, and Flame was a very handsome black stallion, just like this model horse. Literally looked just like him. So of course I named this model horse Flame, and yeah, a lot of fun times with Flame. This is Chester, and Chester is my current imaginary horse. I know, but I need to ride something when I practice all my dressage tests that I ride on Sunshine, my real pony, but I have to practice them and memorize them, so I ride them on Chester. And this is what he looks like. This is a repaint I did to look like Chester on a Schleich model. And we also have Chester, the Breyer Classic horse. Very pretty. And lastly, there are 3 Chesters. We have Chester, the miniature hobby horse I made for Sid, who hangs out around Silver Star Stables to ride. So she loves Chester, her hobby horse. These are all the Chesters. And this is Violet, who is actually my brother's imaginary horse. Unfortunately and sadly, he no longer rides imaginary horses that I know of, but this is Violet, and this is what she looked like as the imaginary horse. So this is her model. Now on to some more random ones. So this is Clyde, and we actually had a dog named Clyde many, many years ago when I was very, very tiny. And I kind of named him like Clyde the Clydesdale, but he's not a Clydesdale at all, he's a Shire. But that's what I thought of when I named him. Elektra here is named after one of the mares in the movie documentary Cloud, and one of the mares in there had a name similar to Elektra. It wasn't quite Elektra. I didn't want to name her exactly the mare's name for some reason, but that's where I got the idea for her name. And I thought it was a good fit for her because she kind of looks like a wild pony, kind of like a lead mare with her ears pinned back. Which, just a little side note, I really like her expression because she's the only Schleich model I have with a expression like hers. Because yes, sometimes horses do make a grumpy face, especially the little mares. Our neighbors actually had a horse named Buck when we first moved here. So that was a really long time ago though, and I'm pretty sure Buck has probably passed away because he was really old. But this horse here, this little model, is named Buck because he kind of looked like him, but yeah, he did. Buttermilk here is named after one of the horses on the very old Roy Rogers TV show. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but me and my brother used to absolutely love those and watch them every single night. And the cowgirl on that show rode a horse named Buttermilk. So that's where her name came from, and Buttermilk was really beautiful. This here is Teddy, but his original name was Trigger, who was Roy Rogers' horse, and he was a Palomino that looked a lot like Teddy. But I actually ended up changing his name to Teddy because I thought it fit him a little better. And the personality he has, but as far as the way he looks, he definitely looks like Trigger. But that was his original name. And lastly, we have Apache. I believe Apache is like a tribe of Indians. At least that was the way it was on the cowboy show in the old cowboy movies. So that's where I came up with his name. That's where I heard it, was on the old Western movies. All right, everyone, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was a little bit different, and my ponies actually now are stirring up the house. They need fed, my real ponies, so I gotta go get busy with that, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!